lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping two divisions.
Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter. I mean, the best fighter pound for pound can be Canelo. I mean, a 147 pounder moving up to 68.
Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy. And he
Floyd Mayweather explains why Terence Crawford cannot beat Canelo Alvarez, pointing to the huge weight gap. He stresses that moving up many divisions is not just about skill, but also about managing size, strength, and stamina at the top level. Canelo has faced naturally bigger fighters his whole career, while Crawford is entering unknown ground. Mayweather believes this difference will be too much for Crawford to handle even with his sharp technical skills.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Robert Garcia highlights that Terence Crawford's lack of experience at super middleweight is one of the biggest risks of his career. While Crawford has shined in several divisions, moving into Canelo Alvarez's natural class is far more dangerous than past jumps. Garcia notes Canelo has years of experience fighting bigger men, while Crawford has not proven he can keep his speed, sharpness, and conditioning at this weight. He adds that Crawford's body hasn't fully adjusted, making him look slower and less fluid. This could play a major role against a veteran like Canelo, who thrives in this division.
Jumping two divisions where he only had one fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford. But I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not. Yeah. But I do give him a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
Thanks
appreciate
for coming.
it. Thank you
very
Cheers.
much.
The analyst points out the massive stakes in the Crawford versus Canelo matchup. He says if Crawford can beat Canelo's size and strength, his legacy would rise to new heights, putting him close to Floyd Mayweather in the all-time great debate. Winning against a fighter like Canelo would confirm Crawford as the best pound-for-pound boxer of his era, ending any doubts about his record. But the analyst also adds this would not place him above Mayweather. Instead, it would put Crawford just behind him, since Floyd's undefeated run and dominance remain unmatched. Still, the chance to reach such rare status makes this fight historic.
3-time undisputed is insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moist, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott and Barbados Joe, not Jersey. I'm Barbados. Like that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback. I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, because Cotto was weight drained. Has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
Jeff Mayweather strongly reacts to Canelo Alvarez's claim that Crawford is better than Floyd. Jeff says this is less about facts and more about Canelo trying to lift himself through comparison. He explains that since Canelo lost badly to Floyd, saying Crawford is superior gives him an indirect excuse for that defeat. Jeff admits Crawford is very talented, but he has not yet reached Floyd's level of dominance or achievements in the sport. For Jeff, Floyd's perfect record and how he beat top opponents speaks clearly, and no fair comparison can be made until Crawford does much more.
Well, also, if we remember, Canelo, that was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 21? 23? 25?
Yeah, I'm still very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost. Yeah, but man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
But his career. But are you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want
to make himself look like he did something great.
Joel Diaz completely rejects Crawford's chances, stressing the massive size gap. He reminds fans that Canelo has gone head-to-head with powerful punchers who had both strength and toughness. If Canelo could take shots from someone like Golovkin, Diaz questions how Crawford, who has fought men closer to his size, can hurt him. For Diaz, Crawford's skill is strong but cannot erase the physical difference. He explains fighters often don't realize the impact of moving up in weight until they feel the power of bigger men. In this case, Canelo's toughness and strength make a wall Crawford cannot climb.
You ask him who Skull is, they won't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is, but they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion in
he's a champion.
He's got the other stone that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade?
Yes.
Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fought 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey on the sheet. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
The debate over ring size adds another angle to the fight. Whether it is 18 feet or 22 feet, experts argue the change will not truly affect the result. Crawford's fans think a bigger ring will let him use his movement and angles to outbox Canelo, relying on his slick style to avoid pressure. But analysts point out Canelo has fought in both small and large rings and adjusted each time. While a larger ring may help Crawford slightly, it will not erase Canelo's natural size and power. In the end, the outcome will depend on performance, not ring dimensions.
One of the biggest things in this Canelo-Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented. He's athletic. He has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant. He's that excellent. But I'm going to tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt it. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be at 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bets.
Crawford's dominant win over Errol Spence gave many fans belief he can beat Canelo. That fight showed his timing, creativity, and ruthless finishing ability, proving his strength at welterweight. But experts warn Spence, while skilled, is not, naturally bigger like Canelo. They bring up Israil Madrimov as an example of fighters Crawford hasn't faced, larger men who could push him to his limits. Meanwhile, Canelo has already fought opponents even bigger than him, and still competed at the highest level. The worry is that Crawford's success at welterweight may not carry over against a naturally stronger super middleweight.
Hey, y'all, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all act like he just beat fucking Jesus or Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. I say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has gone up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. So you think he gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. And the only people who saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casuals. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. Cause I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it and y'all running with it. Cut it out.
Gabe Rosado looks back at Canelo's loss to Floyd Mayweather, calling it a turning point in Canelo's career. At that time, Canelo was still learning and lacked the skills to deal with Floyd's defense. Rosado says the loss humbled Canelo, but gave him a valuable lesson that shaped who he became. Since then, Canelo has grown more confident, sharpened his technique, and learned to handle different styles. Rosado believes this progress has made Canelo more dangerous today than when he fought Floyd, and Crawford now faces the matured, fully tested version of Alvarez.
Could be too soon for Xander, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
Yeah, I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. That fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head and his counters got better and his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to like break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo. And then, you know, I think that kind of fight is gonna help him in the Crawford fight.